All right, everyone. This is Grant of Real Squared Circle here. I wanted to hop on and kind of talk about the recent Trey Miguel controversy. It all started last week. This would be the week of January 12th, 2026. Around January 13th, there started to be some rumblings online about the Rascals, including Trey Miguel, making the jump from TNA to AEW. It started off as rumors until Wednesday evening when Fightful confirmed just before AEW themselves confirmed on the live broadcast of Dynamite. This is all four Rascals were signing to All Elite Wrestling. It was huge news. It took Twitter and Reddit by storm. Everyone was chatting about this. Nothing out of the ordinary. Everyone was pretty excited. Fast forward a little bit to Saturday. This was Saturday, January 17th. The Rascals made their AEW debut on Collision that night. Kind of a weird promo. I won't get too much into like the backstage promo segment, whatever you want to call it. I didn't personally think it was a great introduction. But the bigger talking point about this debut, someone was missing. Trey Miguel was not there. Only three of them were there. So people started asking, hey, what's going on? Because they didn't even mention Trey Miguel's name. So we fast forward a little bit. We go on social media. Trey Miguel removed every mention of AEW that he had previously shared on his social media. And then he released a story on his Instagram. And the story said this: taking a break from wrestling. Please respect my space and don't tag me in any posts or comments. Go support the Rascals still. Then a couple emojis. At first glance, I read this and I think to myself, Trey Miguel is making this post because he unexpectedly got released, for better words. At that point, we didn't know he had been released, but he unexpectedly kind of got the boot from this group debuting in AEW. He didn't see it coming. To me, it seemed like he was blindsided by this, and it was kind of just a reaction, and it's the same reaction I would have. If my friends got to go on and be in AEW together and continue on in this group that I was part of and I was expected to be part of, and I was unexpectedly taken out of it, I'd say, hey, I'm getting off social media. I'm stepping back from wrestling. I don't want to hear about this. I don't want to talk about it. I need time to process it. That was my interpretation. And keeping in mind, I didn't know at this point what had happened. I wasn't going out there saying this is for sure what happened. I wasn't creating narratives and sharing them online of saying this is probably or for sure what happened. In my mind, this was still a mystery. We had no details. We don't know. But the IWC, and yes, I'm part of the IWC. I get it. I'm part of it. I'm on Reddit. I'm part of it. But the vast majority of the IWC, from what I saw on Twitter, X, and Reddit, they decided to create the narrative themselves that Trey Miguel quit AEW. He wasn't released. He quit. He had mental health issues, and he quit. He couldn't do it. He needed time away. Why? Why do we feel the need to create these narratives? We're not Trey Miguel. We don't know. We don't know what Trey Miguel is going through. We know that in the past, years ago, he had opened up about some mental health struggles. However, that doesn't mean he has those struggles for the rest of his life. That doesn't mean every inconvenience, every hurdle, every negative thing that pops up in his career is related to those past struggles. But every fan, they were confident. They were sure. There was no way, no other possibility. He quit because he had other priorities. I'll be the first to say, I have so much empathy for people dealing with mental health struggles. If indeed that is what happened, man, I wish him the best. I wish Trey Miguel the best. I hope that he takes the time to sort out whatever he needs to sort out, and that he's happy, and that he's healthy, and that he can return to wrestling. Because he's great. He's great in the ring. He's a great character. Everyone knows he was great in TNA. He would have been great in NXT. Man, it's unfortunate. But I'm pretty sure this has nothing to do with mental health struggles. I don't know, but no one has confirmed it. No reports have said it. The way it's played out didn't indicate it. It's just as likely for it to be anything else, any other of the 1,000 reasons you could come up with. It's just as likely to be that. So I don't know why everyone was so confident. So I made a post about it on REALSquaredCircle. I made a post, Trey Miguel released from AEW, says he's taking a break from wrestling. People tore me apart for saying I didn't know the reason, for saying let's not create a narrative. I got ripped to shreds. How many comments are on there? There's like 85 comments on this thing. 42,000 views within a day. Everyone tearing me apart because I didn't want to jump to conclusions. Okay, guys. Okay. Sure. So then today, Trey Miguel was released, that was like yesterday. But then today, on Wrestling Observer Radio, our favorite show, Brian Alvarez and Dave Meltzer, I know you all love them so much. They talked about it a little bit. And they said, no one's really saying much. Well, some people are saying certain things. But my understanding is whatever it is, it came from up above. I know there's lots of rumors, but it had nothing to do with anybody in AEW. Wait, nothing to do with anybody in AEW talent. Man, they say things weird sometimes. It doesn't make sense to me, but anyway. Or anything like that, or Tony Khan. Something happened from way up, and he was released. That is what we know at this point about Trey Miguel. Now, I know the reason that they are clarifying it had nothing to do with anybody, like any talent in AEW. It's because there was the rumors that MJF got him released because he dated MJF's wife in the past or something along those lines. And we knew that was false right from the start. MJF isn't he doesn't have that kind of pull, first of all, to get someone just fired. And he's not going to do it for that reason. There's just no way. Use your brains a little bit. But Dave was real quick to say this had nothing to do with Tony Khan either. This was above Tony Khan. Now, we all know Tony Khan is the boss. He's the owner. He makes the final decisions. So if they're saying that this came from above Tony Khan, the list is short for what that could mean. And the only reasonable assumption that we can come up with at this point, and again, not that we should be making assumptions, but the only reasonable assumption we can come up with at this point is that it was somebody at Warner Brothers Discovery. Doesn't sound likely when you say it out loud. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Why would someone at WBD even be looking at this group and digging into them and finding things they may not like or support and then saying, hey, Tony, you got to pull this guy? It's I don't know. At first glance, I'm thinking this doesn't make a lot of sense. But then we think back to the Briscoes. Years ago, the Briscoes. Do you remember one of them had a controversial past with some of the comments he had made? And although he apologized and although he moved past it and the wrestling fans had accepted him, someone at WBD couldn't get past it. And they said, Tony, you can't let this guy on TV. So there is a little bit of a precedent for a situation like this. It's possible. I'm not saying it's what happened, but it's possible that somebody at WBD put the squash on this and said, hey, we like the Rascals, but this Trey Miguel guy, he's got to go. So we don't know what happened, but right now it is kind of seeming like someone other than Tony Khan made the call. It's also entirely possible this was Tony Khan's decision and they just, they don't want anyone to think Tony Khan releases or fires anybody because he's such a good boss. So it's very possible they're twisting the narrative a little bit with what Dave and Brian are saying just to kind of save face with the fans for Tony Khan, not put the hate on him. But somebody high up in AEW did not want Trey Miguel there. That is why Trey Miguel is not there. At this point, we know Trey Miguel didn't pull out himself. He didn't go to AEW and say, hey, I have things I need to take care of. I can't commit to this right now. The Rascals as a group, as 4 wrestlers, were expected to join AEW. In their minds, that was their expectations. They were all going together. And at the last minute, Trey Miguel got the boot. I feel bad for him. I feel bad for all of them. But right now, the best thing we can do is just respect his wishes, respect his space, don't tag him, don't make comments at him, and I guess support the Rascals. We'll see how long this break from wrestling lasts. I think there are companies that would gladly take him in. I think TNA would gladly take him back at this point. I mean, you look at their roster right now, new TV deal, AMC, roster's looking kind of thin in some areas, and they could use someone like a Trey Miguel to kind of fill that out. I see a lot of spots where he might fit in pretty well in TNA right now. NXT, I don't know, feels a little bit less likely, but you know, their roster's also kind of thinning out right now with all the call-ups, and they need talent too. So Trey Miguel, if he wants to continue wrestling, he's not going to have a problem. I mean, barring that there's any kind of crazy controversy that hasn't come to light yet that AEW found out about first, barring any of that, which I don't think that's the problem. I know there's some conspiracy theories. Some fans are saying, oh, it was a drug problem, or it's this, or it's that, and I don't think it's any of that. I don't think it's anything crazy like that. I think it just came down to someone was rubbed the wrong way in AEW, someone very high up, and they made the call. And you know, I'm sure that we don't agree with it, but yeah, I mean, Trey Miguel's mental health problems, if anything, he may have some struggles with his mental health after all of this, but we know he didn't quit. He wanted to be there. And that's about it. I just wanted to address it, guys, because again, I've made these posts. It's been a big topic on Real Squared Circle the last 48 hours, and people are mad at me. They think because I wasn't jumping on the bandwagon that I'm like against mental health struggles, and that's not true. We all know everyone has mental health struggles from time to time. We know that probably half the wrestlers on the rosters, AEW and WWE, we know they probably all deal with it in secrecy from time to time, and that's just being human, man. That's all that is. So yeah. Just wanted to talk about that, and until next time, we got a stacked Monday afternoon Raw card coming up today that I'll be posting some highlights and coverage of, and yeah, we'll go from there. It's looking like a great show. Okay, goodbye. See ya. Signing out.